Good Omens is a new series on Amazon Prime starring Michael Sheen and David Tennant as the main characters. It's based on a story by Neil Gaiman and Terry Pratchett. Not very familiar with Neil Gaiman's work, but definitely familiar with Terry Pratchett. He's had a few other adaptations over the years of his books, and this, I think, is the best adaptation of any story that involved his input to date. It centres around a demon and an angel, Crowley and, do you know what, I'm not even going to try and say his name, Michael Sheen's character, whose name I would just butcher. I'll put it up at the bottom. They were sort of placed on deployment to the Garden of Eden. Crowley was the snake, who is David Tennant, and Michael Sheen was the angel there to guard the Tree of Knowledge. They mess up, and obviously Adam and Eve get the apple and go out into the world, but over the years, because they're sort of stationed together, they become best mates, and they make a pact that because they're always there fighting against each other, they're always going to cancel each other out, so why bother? So they just sort of live in humanity and enjoy themselves and just lie to the head office that each of them has, respectively, heaven and hell. Then all of a sudden the prophecy for the Antichrist and the end of the world comes along, and they're charged with making sure that the prophecy goes ahead as planned. But of course they realise that if the prophecy went ahead as planned, they'd have to go back to doing proper work, and they actually quite like hanging out on Earth, so they devise a scheme to, let's say, fiddle it a bit so that they end up making the boy not evil, not good, just sort of normal. So he doesn't want to destroy the world, and he just wants to live a normal life. Due to very sort of Terry Pratchett-like circumstances, they end up getting the wrong kid, and the other kid, who is actually the Antichrist, ends up growing up in a normal sort of English country village. With friends playing in fields and stuff, and then he comes into his power when the time is right, and then there's a sudden sort of race for people to start the apocalypse, and they're trying to prevent it. There's lots of sort of other story threads going on. You've got a witch hunter, you've got the four horsemen, and they all sort of intertwine and come together at the end in a very neat fashion. There's no sort of threads left at the end of this. It's really, really funny. It's really sort of sarcastic. It's got a great sense of humour, and if you're familiar with Terry Pratchett's work, then you can see that coming through totally. They really sort of nail the sense of humour. There's a good joke about the M25 that I think anyone who's been on it will appreciate. And the other thing is that the way that they, Heaven and Hell, communicate with the various characters, whenever David Tennant's character is being communicated to by Hell, they do it through media, sort of like the TV or the cinema or the radio. And I think it's a sort of little underhanded swipe at saying that sort of digital media or the media is actually sort of an invention of the devil because it's bad for you, which I think is quite a nice little little thing to pick up on. It has a proper ending. There is no need for a sequel. I don't want to see a sequel. It's 6 episodes long, and they are 6 perfectly formed episodes. All of the actors in it do a great job. I don't feel there was one weak point in it. It has got a cast of actors that you would be surprised they would be able to get. I mean, it's just a who's who of British character actors throughout. But I mean, even just down to little voices. I mean, you've got all of a sudden, there's so many to think of. Brian Cox plays Death's voice. You've got Benedict Cumberbatch as Satan. Johnny Vegas suddenly turns up just as some possessed woman's husband. It's just really, really good quality. I think it goes to show sort of the love and affection people have for the work of Terry Pratchett and Neil Gaiman, that all these people would agree to turn up to it. Definitely worth watching, particularly if you've got a very British, dry sense of humour and you want to see something that is original, not based on superheroes, not about deadly serial killers, but has got both light and dark tones. And to be honest, I binge watched this. I wasn't planning on it. I put it on Saturday afternoon when I come in because it was too hot to sit outside, and I just kept on watching it right up until the evening because it's only 6 episodes long. And I think that's the thing as well, that see, with your Netflix and all that, they feel compelled to have 10 to 13 episodes. This knew that it could only do it in 6 episodes, and if it had gone any longer it would be stretched and boring. But by being 6 episodes, it was exactly the right length. Nothing felt padded, nothing felt elongated. Really, really worth watching, and good high quality television.